Austin fell onto Karmelo's knife trying to attack him because the knife is 3.5 inches. The cut was only 2. Loon, if I'm stabbing you, why am I going halfway with a knife blade that's only 3.5 inches? You fell onto my knife. Regardless, Loon, do you really think those 2 black boys who fell on that white boy's knife?
Time out, bro. I can't do it.
That's Officer Tatum.
Yeah, that's Officer Tatum.
Yeah.
You know where he coming from.
We know his perspective.
Yeah. Fell on the knife is a stretch. Fell on the knife.
Yeah.
But it could have been a situation where they were, you know, in the process of attacking him and they got some, you know what I mean? They got a little piece of that. But this is speculation, definitely. So let's continue with this video. This is from Mr. Hairline himself. All that real estate.
He fell on a knife. There ain't no human being on planet Earth out of 21 witnesses said that he fell on a knife. Karmelo Anthony's defense isn't arguing that he fell on a knife. Nobody's saying that these black people cannot take accountability for nothing. Now the boy done fell on somebody's knife.
Welcome to the special edition of Straight Shooter, coming at you as I love to do, at least twice a week over the airways of YouTube, of course. Of course, you know my POTUS show is every Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airways of SiriusXM POTUS Radio.
I just have to take a moment of silence for this nigga's hairline.
Go ahead.
Son, that shit is a full one-man parking space, son. You could park a Honda Civic right the hell here.
That was Officer Tatum responding to Dr. Umar Johnson, who was talking about what transpired with the whole Karmelo Anthony situation. You know, the kid, he was 17 at the time. He's 19 now. He was recently convicted of first-degree murder based off of, because in April of 2025, he fatally stabbed a fellow high school student, high school athlete, Austin Metcalf, in the chest during an altercation at a track meet in Frisco, Texas. A jury convicted Anthony of murder on June 9th and 10th of this year, rejecting his self-defense claim and sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Now, as we all know, I definitely had my reservations about that sentencing. I remember the case involving Casey Allison, who in May of 2022 was also a Texas high school student and fatally stabbed a classmate, Joe Ramirez, during a confrontation in a Belton high school bathroom. He ultimately was acquitted of murder and manslaughter, but convicted of criminally negligent homicide, where he was sentenced in June of 2025 to a maximum 10 years in prison. So he murdered somebody, he's getting 10 years. Karmelo Anthony murdered somebody, he's getting 35 years. And that discrepancy has a lot of people in an uproar and what have you. Apparently one of those people is Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I listened to what he said there. And let me state this. I respect him. I respect the man. I respect his intelligence. Officer Tatum, I'm not going to emulate you. I'm certainly not going to disrespect Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm not going to call him an idiot or question his intelligence. I will say, however, he's definitely out there with the stuff that he was saying. I heard no evidence of Karmelo Anthony or Austin Metcalf falling into a knife. I heard no evidence of that whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a bit of a
stretch.
And there were 21 people, who was considered for the jury. You know, you had your grand jury testimony and all of this other stuff going on. And there was 21 people that were talked to. There were witnesses that were in attendance. Nobody talked about Austin Metcalf falling into a knife. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that comes from. And obviously because of how severe the penalty was, 35 years in prison, we're going to take into account history from an historical perspective, from a racist perspective, and we're not going to be uncomfortable with the discrepancy that exists between some.
How do they keep showing this slavey-looking picture of him?
I don't know.
Where did he get this shirt? Like, that's the main picture they show of him.
That might like the joint to snap between the legs. Got
Right,
the butt out with the 2 buttons on it.
Pajamas? It's long pajamas?
Yeah, it's like the movie Life.
Is that what they gave you in the print? Like, it's just, they keep showing it.
Like Casey Allison compared to a Karmelo Anthony. I got that part. But that doesn't give us a license to then turn around and to just come up with stuff that might have been, as opposed to listening to the evidence that was actually disseminated and making reaching a conclusion based off of that. Karmelo Anthony was quoted as saying to Austin Metcalf, "Put your hands on me and find out what's going to happen." To be clear, he was in a tent because it was raining outside at a track meet. And he was in a visiting.
To me, I think that makes it less of a manslaughter less of a murder, to be honest with you.
How so?
Because he giving you a warning. Leave me the hell alone.
No, that makes it premeditated. I'm telling you, don't come over here with that. Premeditated meaning I will whatever I have.
I will
on me,
protect
I will use
myself.
It's premeditated.
So if you come out, if somebody break in your house and you come downstairs with a shotgun,
it's different. Different scenario.
What if you're on a bus stop and somebody like move from this bus stop? They don't own the tent.
Scenario, sir. Respect. I understand what you're saying. Totally different.
And you like, yo, you put your hands on me.
All circumstances are different, and this is very, very unique in itself. Like I just said, a young two classmates fighting in the bathroom. He jigged the kid. He get 10 years. This kid, and we need to find out their races because it sounded like one of those was a Hispanic boy. I don't know if he did it or he was the one who perished. And the other thing, but this is a young black boy who stabbed a white boy in an affluent community. That makes all the difference in the world.
Team's tent, not his own. And Austin Metcalf was one of the people that walked up to him and said, yo, man, you need to go to your own spot. You don't need to be up in here. And according to witnesses and Karmelo Anthony himself,
I think one of the wisest things they could have did was cut his hair, though. Forget all the outfit and all the other pictures, because I'm telling you, that in itself, that right there,
it ain't help him. What difference did it make?
It ain't helping, but they probably like,
they was going to give him 36 years?
You got to cut your hair. Cut his hair. Like, look, man, cut his, because with a jury and a judge.
All that, see, that's that respectability politics thing. That makes no difference. He was already thought of as a cold-blooded murderer before he got started.
Facts.
I personally feel he was overcharged.
Facts.
If it were my son, absolutely, you gonna have to you got to do some time. Absolutely. Do I think he was overcharged? Yes, I think premeditated murder is just too much. My brother may disagree. Stephen A. may disagree, but I just feel like that's too much.
Said, put your hands on me and see what's going to happen. According to a coach, in the aftermath of the incident, he walked up to Karmelo Anthony and asked him what happened. And Karmelo Anthony said, hey, he put his hands on me, so I stabbed him. So he told you what he was going to do before he did it. Then he ended up doing it. And now we're hearing all of these conspiracy theorists coming out here talking about this stuff, ignoring the evidence. Now, again, Officer Tatum, I'm not going to go your route because we can simply disagree. We don't have to engage in insulting anybody here. You've got people that are emotionally invested because they see a system that they think is inequitable and unequal, and as a result, they react accordingly because yet another black kid is going down with a level of severity that isn't being shared by somebody who isn't black, but comes across as having committed the same crime. Now, there's different circumstances. One involved a fight that both volunteered to confront one another about. One was getting the better of the other. Ultimately, a stabbing took place.
If that's what happened to me, that's worse. We supposed to be handling with the hands, and then you pulled out a knife. If you ask me, that's worse.
Talking about the two young men that were in the bathroom,
right? Versus somebody who didn't want to fight at all. But if you put your hands on me, I'm just saying.
A killing occurred, and as a result of that killing, Allison got 10 years in prison because of criminally negligent homicide as opposed to manslaughter or murder.
And I feel like that applies more to the Karmelo case.
So you think he should have got 10 years instead of 35?
Probably like 10, 15. That is somebody's life. I just think 35 sounds crazy. That's just to me.
Karmelo Anthony went the route of self-defense through the advice of his lawyers and ultimately ended up being convicted of first-degree murder. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't a jury of his peers because there was nobody black on the jury. I got all of that. There's nobody black on the jury. That's not a jury of your peers, even though there's no law that stipulates your peers means that your ethnicity has to be shared. I do understand that. But I think it would be nice if you're going to call it a jury of your peers, that it needs to be some people up there that look a little bit like you, that shares your pigmentation, your hue, your ethnicity. I think that's fair, in my opinion.
But like they said, all it take is one of the 12 jurors, and it could become a hung jury.
Right.
He wouldn't have got the 35 years.
Mm-hmm. But again, no laws were violated in terms of the makeup of that jury. Having said all of that, the reason why this point is relevant right now is because of a very uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth is that, once again, we find ourselves dropping the ball a little bit, dare I say. His lawyer, who was that going to be? Did we do our due diligence? The makeup of the jury, did we do our due diligence? The charges that were ultimately going to be filed against him, what he was indicted for, what he was going to be prosecuted for. Did we have the right people in place to make sure that wasn't putting Karmelo Anthony at a considerable advantage? Did we do all of those things? Or were we a bit late to the party in that regard? And considering that one could argue that we were late to the party in that regard, for those who want to support Karmelo Anthony, who want to act like a crime wasn't committed, who want to act like he was completely provoked, instead of bringing up the fact that he had no business having a knife at a track meet, instead of acknowledging the fact that he was in no real perceived danger in terms of his...
They keep saying that knife at a track meet thing, man.
Son, it's very simple.
It wasn't a butcher knife.
I don't care if it was a 1-inch knife. I don't care if it was a box cutter.
It was a tool.
We don't care if it was a Swiss ice pick. He had you call it what you want. It's a weapon. It was used as a weapon. He didn't need it. But you need that for the track meet.
But that should not contribute to this being premeditated murder. That means every young boy who has a pocket knife is considering murder.
Possibly.
Premeditated
murder. Yes.
Yeah, but you can't put somebody away on possibly. That's not a definite in any way,
right,
shape,
but he
or
did
form.
it. A crime was committed. The boy ain't make it. It's different if he cut him. And I'm gonna say this too. It's a difference between being cut and stabbed. We know this. I've seen it. I've seen it where a person do this and run. It's another thing when a person put it in you.
He was sitting down. He juked him and
well,
ran.
Okay, well, the dude ain't make out. The Metcalf kid ain't make out. I don't care if they say it was a 3-inch joint and he only put 2 inches in. It's exhausted his life.
I just think premeditated is a bit. It's, how you saying he the same as Jeffrey Dahmer? He the same as Julio Fulio killers? You saying he the same?
Right.
Exactly.
They ain't get 35 years either.
I mean, they got various situations.
Exactly.
But when
it's not the same thing.
My point is, premeditated murder is the highest form. That's the same thing as any serial killer under the bush, out of the bushes, murder. He's the same thing as that. He should get the same charge, the same time as that.
Son, I respect the fact that you have empathy for this young man's life. I respect from Dark Mark. I respect that from you, son. It just shows you have a very compassionate heart, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. But what it is he was in Texas. This is the circumstances, and they smashed him. We cut off through all the bullshit. He got smashed.
Instead of acknowledging the fact that he was in no real perceived danger in terms of his life being threatened, in terms of acknowledging the fact that under no circumstances, based on the evidence of what has happened, did it warrant him stabbing somebody in the chest?
Umar said he fell up on a knife. Dr. Umar said the Metcalf boy, he
slipped and fell and stabbed himself.
Both hands up.
Sit up there, and we're going to ignore those things. Here's what we can't ignore. Here's what's unavoidable. People are going to bring this up too. Where's all this noise over what happened in Chicago on Juneteenth? What's the relevancy for that? The relevancy for that is that we're arguing and going off and expressing hell and fury over the conviction of a guy who acknowledged he admitted he committed the crime. Told the police, it's not alleged, I did it. Because he put his hands on me, so I did it. according to the reports. We've got people all over the place going off, talking about police officers, talking about the court system, talking about the inequity within our legal system, et cetera, et cetera. But 39 people get shot on Juneteenth. 6 are killed.
In Chicago.
And we're not hearing anything.
He holding up a mirror, son. I hate to say it. Stephen A. holding up a mirror right now.
Nigga, but that's a disingenuous argument. Both things can be true. The Karmelo sentencing can be wrong, and also
disingenuous, son.
Because the two things have nothing to do with one another.
You know what it is?
You can be
talking about black folks.
I'm upset about both of them.
Everybody's okay.
I'm upset about both situations. I think that's terrible. I think that's awful. I think that's a terrible situation in how we are. And yes, it stems from lack of fathers in the home and all that other stuff that people are going to say. But that does not mean that Karmelo wasn't overcharged. Karmelo not from Chicago. What do the two things have to do with each other? Why is every time everything comes with black people, we always got to be lumped together?
You just said it. Why is it every time when it comes to black people? Now, black people in a hoopla and got their panties in a bunch about Karmelo and this white boy, about a little black kid and a white boy. Everybody, that's got the focus. That is the vocal point right now. Nobody's talking about black, whoever. We know it wasn't a white, 9 times out of 10, pardon me. It wasn't a white man. It was in the crowd that shot 30-some people and killed 6. They was young black. You don't hear nothing about that.
But it's not
that's
like
what we need to.
But you trying to say white people don't do that?
No, what I'm saying is it should be as much
outrage.
Very good. I was looking for a harsher word. As much outrage towards Karmelo Anthony and this Metcalf kid as what happened in Chicago on Juneteenth. I'm
certainly outraged about that. In fact, more so. If there's anything, like, I'm very serious. Like, I'm very
Well, why we ain't talking about it then?
Listen. Let me tell you something.
We need to do
I think
everything
that we do on here, I'm always on the side of comedy and jokes and all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
The one thing I do take very seriously is the lives of our young men and boys.
Absolutely.
In the way that we take each other's lives.
If nothing else, we love our people.
Right. Absolutely. And what you're saying is true. We don't do more shows about that because nobody watches them. I make videos like that all the time, and they are consistently our worst performing video.
And our demographic is predominantly black males.
But that, once again, all those things are true, but that's got nothing to do with Karmelo being overcharged. That's a whataboutism. But what about them? For all that,
what about if he didn't have a knife?
What about all them white people? All them people, they
get all that. Okay, what about if he didn't have a knife?
A white man just went to the grocery store.
It wouldn't have happened. He would have just got his ass whipped. Or he might have whipped one of their ass. We don't know what happened, but he had a knife and he took the kid's life.
Deflection, Your Honor.
Wrong.
Why is that? I bring up Juneteenth, ladies and gentlemen, to remind you what Juneteenth is. It's a U.S. holiday that commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. That's what Juneteenth is.
It's imaginary, just like the end of slavery in the United States.
Right, in Columbus.
Juneteenth, June 19th. Emancipation Proclamation issued by Abraham Lincoln in January of 1863. This is what we're talking about.
He realized what he was reading was off. Juneteenth is the last day the last of the slaves in Texas found out that they were free.
Right.
He was like, January, wait a minute.
June 19th, 1865, 2 years ago, Union General, reading from here, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced that enslaved people in Texas were free. This date is what became known as Juneteenth. You know how, as black folks, we sit up there and we talk about it's Malcolm X Boulevard, it's Martin Luther King Boulevard, and that's usually where violence takes place? Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying about Juneteenth right now. Mm-hmm. 39 people shot.
And I'm not denying what he's spitting. I'm just saying I got nothing to do with Karmelo. You can be outraged about both things. You saying the community is not.
I'm looking at the bigger picture here, sir.
6 killed. And what are we saying?
Nothing.
You got more people arguing about Karmelo Anthony than this.
He's speaking facts.
And I'm not getting into, oh, you know what? It's black on black. Wait a minute. White people kill white people. Facts. Hispanics kill Hispanics.
Facts.
The people you live with, the people you live amongst, the people you live around.
Black people kill black people. White people kill black people and white people.
Son, cut it out. Son.
How many mass shooters has been black on white? We'll pop each other all day long. White folks,
but white folks, they go to
they
Vegas.
have no boundaries.
They go to Vegas and just shoot down at a concert. They don't
Everybody.
indiscriminately.
Everybody.
They don't care who it is. Anybody.
And then they go to a black church, and then they mix it up.
Cut it out, man.
Where violence usually take place amongst one another. I know that. I don't care about that. I care about us, our community right now, as it pertains to this subject. What we gonna do, peoples? I'm talking to black people. What we gonna do? Barack Obama had his presidential center opened this past Friday. We all celebrating it. And we got nothing to say about 39 black folks, 39 people rather getting shot, 6 fatally. How about this?
He's spitting.
Let me read some numbers to you because I think it's important. It's only right. Chicago, in the year 2024, recorded 580 homicides in that 1 year alone, with black residents accounting for roughly 3/4 to 4/5 of the victims. The racial safety gap remains stark. The University of Chicago Crime Lab reports that in 2025, black Chicagoans had a homicide rate of nearly 40 per 100,000 residents, compared with less than 2 per 100,000 residents for white residents. That means black residents were more than 20 times more likely to be homicide victims. Chicago Public Schools directs additional resources to high poverty neighborhoods with operational spending ranging from roughly $19,000 to $22,000 per student. Yet the city continues to lose hundreds of black lives to violence each year. Even after total homicides fell to 416 in the year 2025 from the 580 in 2024, black residents still accounted for the overwhelming majority of victims.
And they think that's progression.
What?
From 580 to 4 something.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely it's a sad sad situation.
Yeah,
It's epidemic. We talk a lot of crap about Stephen A, but I think one thing, if we can get on code about any one thing, is to stop the violence. We gotta do that. We gotta do that. Black people,
as a people.
All over the world, really.
Yes, and that's right now we're just talking about the United States, where we live. In any major metropolitan city, they're going through the same thing, man.
Yeah. I don't know, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does Stephen A have a point?
Or is his hairline just receding even more?
Right. Or does he have no points on his edges?
God damn it.